Hi, I'm Dan Bowden. I'm going to take you into my home studio today as I prepare you for the Red Dot auction. The piece I'm donating to this year's Red Dot auction is titled Stranger Than Fiction. It's based on the cartoon Nightmare Hare, directed by Chuck Jones. It's a really funny cartoon. That's what attracted me to this piece and to begin with, because I like the story. I remember it as a kid growing up. It's just one of those stories that just sticks with you. If you're unfamiliar with the cartoon, you should watch it. It starts off that Bugs Bunny, he's in the countryside right outside of a barn, and he's outside his bunny hole, and he's reading a book about knights in medieval time. So this apple falls out of this tree, lands on top of it, kind of in the same place, but he's gone back in time to the medieval times, and he's greeted by this knight that's sitting on this horse, and there's a lance that's sticking down at him. And I didn't really understand it as a kid, but it just like cracks me up now. And I wrote down some of the names that this knight introduced himself to Bugs Bunny. So he goes by Sir O of K, Earl of Watercress, Sir Osis of the Liver, Knight of the Garter, and Baron of Worcestershire. And then along comes this dragon. That's just classic. It was hilarious to me back as a kid watching it, and it's even funnier nowadays. So that was the idea behind my painting, and that's why I put it together the way I did. And like with all my paintings, I like to tell a story, and the cartoon is the catalyst to that. And so, that's a lot of story that I just described. And, how do you get all that much story into one painting when we're donating a 12 by 12 canvas? So I decided, well, this, my composition needs to be stretched out. And so that's where I came up with the idea of having 3 separate canvases telling the story, to incorporate the idea of when you look at it, you'll recognize the story, the cartoon, all the things that are happening in the painting will remind you exactly of the cartoon. And my idea behind that is to just get you smiling when you see it and put a smile on your face, remembering that cartoon and the fun you had as a kid watching it. So I've been donating to the Red Dot auction since 2015. That was the first year that I got involved. And man, to me, it's a release of just creativity, because you can just let yourself go with ideas. I have done homages to Norman Rockwell paintings in the past, and I get ideas from other artists and other things that people have done in the past, and I kind of let my mind go and come up with my own ideas from that. And so being able to create and just donate something that somebody could appreciate in their own home, that's why I like to do it. I would hope that they can maybe show it off and tell the stories of what it means to them and why they got it. So, and I'm a collector too. I mean, as you can see, this is my art room right here, and obviously I like Star Wars, so I got my Star Wars characters everywhere throughout my room here. I got Chuck Jones art on the wall in here, which inspires me. It's just whatever is fun is, to me, it keeps me young, and that's kind of my goal, just to be a happy artist. Well, unfortunately, as you grow older, your eyes kind of change, and this is my saving grace. When I work on detail pieces, I got to put these on, get out the brush, and do my details like that. So unfortunately, it's glasses. I would like to say, you know, of course, the light's very important, easel's important, the paint's important, but this is number one. Well, when it comes to acrylic paints, because I paint mostly in acrylic, but I also do watercolors. And but for this piece, I did acrylics, and I like to use heavy body acrylics. So there's certain brands that I like. I've tried others. You know, it's funny about acrylics is that even different pigments react in different ways, and so I like Holbein. That's one of my favorite brands. Golden is another. Liquitex, any of those, I work with those, and you know, it gives me good results. I like some of the masters from the past. You know, like I've mentioned Norman Rockwell. He was one of my inspirations growing up because of his realism and detail that he did. So if he were alive today, I would love to see him bid on one of my paintings and, you know, have a prominent place in his house. So I'd say Norman Rockwell. Well, when I was a kid, you know, I had a younger brother, and he needed help on a piece of art because he wanted to enter a contest in school, and he's just 13 months below me, so I'm just a little bit older, so we're just one grade apart. And so I drew this piece for him, didn't think anything about it, and I end up winning the school contest, you know, for my brother. He has his name on it, but you know, I won the contest, and that's when I knew, hey, you know, I'm an artist. And I think I was in first grade at the time. Yeah. So I hope you come out to the Chuck Jones Red Dot auction. It's honoring Chuck Jones and all you creative people out there that are putting forth all this effort. You know, it's a joy to work with Chuck Jones Gallery, and you know, I find a lot of joy and creativity, and I hope you do too. So hope to see you there.